We've all heard the term fiscal cliff and QE3, but what does government spending and sweeping government changes mean to us? Dylan Bond's a registered investment advisor representative. He's a licensed insurance professional, and he's the owner of Bond Financial Services, and he's here to tell us what these changes mean. Dylan, it's a pleasure to have you here.
It's a pleasure to be here.
It's dominating the news, this fiscal cliff, and to a lesser extent, QE3, but that I feel like people are going to start talking about soon, too.
Right. Well, the fiscal cliff, to keep it short and make it simple, what it means to us is that taxes across the board could go up if nothing changes. And basically, you're going to look at income tax rates going up. You're going to look at capital gains tax rates going up, taxes on dividends, estate tax rates going up. So across the board, we're going to see increases in taxes.
So I guess to summarize, fiscal cliff, bad for us.
Well, bad for us, but at the end of the day, we're in so much debt as a country, we have to raise money somehow.
That's true, yeah, you got to make it back somehow. Now, this other thing I think people are talking about less, but is pretty important, is QE3. What does that stand for?
Well, quantitative easing is the terminology, and 3 is the third round of it. We've tried 2 other rounds that haven't worked so well. And ultimately, what quantitative easing is, in simple terms, is increasing the money supply, which in theory is supposed to create more money out there for companies to borrow, for people to borrow, and go out and spend to create a stimulation into the economy.
So does that mean that they're just going to start printing more 20s, more $100 bills?
Well, not necessarily printing more money, but creating it electronically. So they're not going to print more bills and put more bills into circulation, but they're going to create more money by buying about $40 billion worth of mortgage-backed securities a month until they see the economy moving in the right direction.
So ideally, what does this plan mean for us?
Well, it's going to mean that interest rates, I think, are going to stay where they are, very low, for the foreseeable future. I'm thinking going as far out as 2015 to 2020. And really what that means is that if inflation, the government's telling us it's about 3% a year, but that doesn't include food, it doesn't include health care, and it doesn't include fuel.
Exactly.
If we're looking at an inflation rate that might be higher or closer to 5 to 7%, and we're only earning 1% or less on our money, then what's happening is over time, our money's devaluing as the cost of goods and services continue to increase.
Exactly.
So we have to be aware of that. And then the other thing that has to be considered is, on one hand, the fiscal cliff is going to create higher taxes, which is going to take money out of the economy. And on the other hand, quantitative easing is putting money back into the economy.
So maybe they'll just balance out?
Yeah, it's tying a rope between 2 tractor-trailer trucks and sending them off in 2 different directions. You know?
That always ends poorly, but who's to know what's actually going to happen?
It is what it is. But at the end of the day, there's things that people can do when they're at or near retirement to make sure that they're aware of how to plan for this, and ultimately that's what we're talking about with people now.
And that's where you come in, because you help people who are planning for retirement. But it's just a grim reality, no matter how old you are. If something is in a bank and you're only getting 1, maybe 2% on it, that's not matching up with inflation.
That's right. I mean, we did the rule of 72 a couple of weeks ago, and if you take your interest rate and divide it by 72, or divide 72 by your interest rate, that will be the number of years it takes to double a sum at that rate. So, 7%. Or 7.2%, it will take 10 years to double a sum, potentially. That doesn't include taxes and other factors that could affect that sum, but it's a good rule of thumb.
Now, Dylan, I don't know about you, but maybe some people out there are like me. A lot of the stuff that we talk about sometimes is way over my head.
Yeah.
So that's why, though, that's where you come in. People can go to you, you sit down with them, and you really talk things through.
Yeah, my mother instilled in me long ago the KISS method, keep it simple, sweetheart.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I try to do that when I'm working with anybody. I don't want to go over their heads. I don't want to make their eyes roll back. Really what I'm trying to do is explain to them what they need to know to make good decisions, and ultimately that's how we do it.
If people are intrigued by some of the things you're saying, if they're thinking about maybe making some changes with their money, before they even have to drop a dime, there's a bunch of things they can do, but one of them is go to one of your seminars.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of telling my story not in my office for the first time. People feel if they're coming into an office, they're going to be in a sales presentation type environment, and I don't want that. So we try to do basically every week we try to do at least one seminar. It takes about an hour's worth of talking, usually at 6 o'clock at night. We have some coming up at Leone's in Springfield, also at Tucker's in Southwick, and that's a good way to kind of get a better understanding of what it is that we do for people that are at or near retirement. And usually if you're 50 and older, that's really what we're focusing on, helping people plan for their retirement or do things to help them in retirement. That's the best way to understand the way that we think and how we do things, so then you can make a better decision as to whether or not you want to sit down with us.
Exactly. So that's the next step. If people go to the seminar, they say, hey, this Dylan Bond, he's an all right guy. They can sit down with you one-on-one, just a pencil and a piece of paper.
Yeah, exactly. Like I say at the seminars, the first meeting is always going to be nothing more than a pen, a pad, and a calculator. I need to learn about who I'm dealing with because everybody has a different financial situation, like a fingerprint, and I want to make sure that anybody that I'm talking with, I understand everything I need to know about them so that I can then put myself in their shoes and help them by telling them what I would do if I were them.
And that's one of the advantages of being local, not one of those huge multinational firms. You're local, and it's easy for you to really make a personal difference to people.
Yeah, I didn't invent the term, but we have to be better. We live here.
Exactly.
You know, I've heard that before, and the fact of the matter is I see my clients all the time when I'm out at the grocery store, or I'm out, you know, at Dick's Sporting Goods or at a football game for my son. You know, it's important to me that I'm setting the right expectations for them, and that we're doing the things that will help them have a better potential for a successful retirement.
Well, Dylan, thank you so much for joining us today. It's always a pleasure having you here.
And one last thing, I am looking forward to seeing you make a quilt.
I'm going to make a quilt one day, and I'll let you have it. And you can visit bondfinancialservices.net, or you can give them a call, 413-754-4747. Just let Dylan and his staff take the steps to secure your financial future.